Hello everybody, welcome back to Fanblade. I was watching a couple of woodworking videos last night and I learned a cool new trick. It turns out that when you're actually in a video, you can go scatterum declampio. Wow, that's a real time saver. Cool. There it is. I don't know what else to say about it, really. I think it speaks for itself. I certainly can't claim credit for this amazing wood. That is totally the work of Mother Nature. It's just incredible. Unfortunately, that is the end of the fun part, because now it's time to do some manual labour. This is a radius sanding jig. This is for sanding the radius onto a neck. The idea being that that sits in there, these little bits go in either side, and then you tighten the screws to clamp it in position, exactly centered with the, because these two pieces are not quite parallel, but I've measured the center of that one is 44.5mm, the center of this one is 46mm. Now, it's adjustable, so I can do any size of neck, any length of neck. They're all good, and the radius sanding blocks that I make just fit right in there and just slide up and down. That's it, really. There's really not that much more to it. In fact, there is exactly nothing more to it. It's really good, it works really well, but it is hard manual labour. And it's fine when you're just doing one guitar at a time, but when you're doing four, the prospect of spending 2 hours sanding is a little bit daunting. So what I'm actually going to do is cheat just a little bit. I'm going to knock down the edges with the power sander, and then I will come in and flatten them out by hand. Okay, that is 2 guitar necks, both sanded to 14-inch radius. I'm learning all the time. It's great. What I had was some 80 grit on here, and it was just taking a very long time. So I replaced it with some 40 grit, and it just did it. Then I discovered that because I need to get to 80 grit before I can start hand sanding, because if you start hand sanding with 80, then you risk wrecking the radius. But with the Velcro pads, we'll stick directly onto the 40 grit. Brilliant! Never tried it before, gonna do it every time now. The other thing that some of you may have noticed if you were paying attention is that this one here already had a radius on it. This is because it was originally going to be a 12-inch, but the fret wire that I got is a 14-inch, so really all I had to do here was flatten the curve. I'm here all week. What, too soon? Don't worry, I'm here all next week as well. The bases are getting a 12-inch radius. This is a block I made some time ago, and I'll see how quickly I can do it with that. Hopefully it'll just take a couple of minutes, because that'd be nice. Well, it didn't go quite as easily as I would like, but I would like everything to be easier than it is, so, that's to be expected, I suppose. We've got 4 necks, radiused, and all sanded out to 220. They are looking good, they are feeling smooth, they are ready for their first coat of finish. Just the fingerboards, and only to protect them for now, while we do the rest of the carving. And the rest of the finish will follow later when we do the rest of the neck. That'll make a nice seamless flowing finish over the whole thing. I'm going to use superglue. This is water thin CA glue. No brand name, not sponsored. The idea here is that for the first coat, and only the first coat, you put on as much as you can, because the wood will soak it in. And I'll do 4 necks, and then I'll go back and I'll do them again immediately, and again until I've used all of both of these, and that will make sure that the superglue is soaked in nice and deep, gives a nice hard coating. You don't do that on any subsequent coats because the glue will have set and it won't soak in. You're just wiping more on the top to build up a finish. The very first step in this process is to clean out the fret slots though, because they've got a bit of sawdust in them, and if I flood this whole thing with glue, then it's just going to glue them shut. Now, we don't want that, we need that slot to be open. They're not the final slots. Think of these as a pilot slot for what will later become the full slot, the full width that we will saw out when it's time to. So it doesn't matter if a little bit of glue gets in there, we're going to be cleaning them out anyway. But gluing them completely shut is a problem. Other problems I could have with this is the fact that the fumes from this stuff are really, really nasty. Therefore, got a fan, goggles, respirator, gloves. I'm going to open the door, and then I'm just going to cycle through these until I've used up as much glue as I can. Right, I've just come into the studio just to show you this because the garage is full of fumes, but a very interesting thing's just happened. If I get the camera to focus on this, this is the cloth that I was just wiping the superglue on with about 3 minutes ago, and it's already gone hard. It's already set stiff. There's a white mark down there, and it got a little bit hot. What's just happened is an exothermic reaction, which can happen with certain types of cloth and certain types of superglue. Now, I've not had it with this type of cloth before, and I've also not had it with that type of superglue before, but I'm trying to think if I've ever actually used the two together. But what was clear as I was wiping it on was that it was warming up, and I got a little bit scared because I've had it go really, really hot really fast on me, but it didn't get really hot. It just, like, it got warm, but then it went hard really quickly. So effectively, I have not just soaked the first layer of superglue into the wood, I have just applied 5 layers of hardened superglue to the outside of the wood. And I'm going to leave it in the garage to sort of gas off for about half an hour before I venture back in there. But I'm pretty sure it'll be set, and I can probably just sand it back and buff it, and then it's done. The question is, how far into the wood did it soak? And is it likely to peel off? I don't think it would, because the first layer did actually soak in. Well, the very first application did soak in, but all subsequent ones appeared to be setting on top, and setting very, very fast indeed. I have looked into this before, because down here in New Zealand it's very difficult to find superglue accelerator. And so I did some research into what makes superglue set. And it turns out that superglue, not many people realise this, is actually a 2-part adhesive. It's like an epoxy, it's a 2-part adhesive. It only has one part in the tube, you say? Yes. The other part is water. It's the moisture in the air, and you only need a tiny little amount of it to make the glue, to set off the polymerization that makes the glue set. Now, conditions in the garage just then must have been absolutely perfect. That's just gone so, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. But yeah, so that's interesting. So that can happen. And also, if you're wasting your money on superglue accelerator, it's just water. So we'll leave it there for the night. I'll venture back out into the garage shortly just to check what's going on. But if you can shed any light on what might be happening with this superglue, then please, by all means, bring your expert knowledge to the table. Thank you for watching, hit subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.